Carol thought she was making the smart choice when she sold her home and moved in with her daughter Sarah. But within 90 days, she realized she'd lost something far more valuable than her house, her independence, her dignity, and rights she didn't even know she had. Here's a shocking truth. Studies show that 87% of seniors who move in with their adult children report feeling like they've become invisible in their own family. They go from being the head of their household to feeling like permanent houseguests who need permission for everything. What if I told you that 99% of seniors who give up these 5 rights never get them back? And worse, most don't realize what they're losing until it's too late. Today, I'm revealing the 5 critical rights that vanish the moment you hand over your house keys, and more importantly, how to protect them before you make this life-changing decision. Every single day, 10,000 Americans turn 65. And right now, millions of seniors are facing the same gut-wrenching decision Carol faced. Should I move in with my adult children? It sounds like the perfect solution: save money, get help when needed, spend more time with family. But here's what no one tells you. The moment you pack up your life and move into that spare bedroom, you're not just changing your address. You're potentially signing away rights you've had for 50, 60, even 70 years. I'm about to share Carol's raw, unfiltered journey, a 73-year-old retired math teacher who thought she was making a practical decision but ended up fighting to reclaim her life. Through her story, you'll discover the 5 fundamental rights that disappear when seniors move in with their kids, and why 99% never get them back. But this isn't just a cautionary tale. I'll show you exactly how to protect these rights before you make the move, including the one document that could save your independence. If you're considering this move or know someone who is, type "watching" in the comments right now. Let's see how many lives we can impact today. Right number 1. The right to your daily schedule. Picture this. For 45 years, Carol woke up at 5 a.m. It wasn't just a habit, it was her sacred time. She'd make her coffee in peaceful silence, do 30 minutes of gentle yoga, and watch the sunrise while reading her devotional. This routine wasn't just about the activities, it was about starting each day on her own terms, in her own rhythm. Then came day 3 in Sarah's house. Carol tiptoed to the kitchen at 5 a.m., started her coffee maker, and began her stretches. Within minutes, Sarah appeared in her pajamas, bleary-eyed and frustrated. "Mom, you're waking the kids. Can't you wait until at least 7? And just like that, Carol's 45-year routine was gone. But it didn't stop there. Breakfast? "We eat together at 8, Mom. Want to watch your afternoon game show? The kids need the TV for homework. Feel like having a late dinner? We eat at 6 sharp because of soccer practice." Within weeks, Carol realized she wasn't living her life anymore, she was living Sarah's family schedule. Here's what makes this so devastating. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that maintaining consistent daily routines is crucial for senior mental health and cognitive function. When seniors lose control of their schedule, they're 40% more likely to experience depression and anxiety within the first 6 months. Carol's story gets worse. She loved taking afternoon naps, something she'd earned after decades of teaching. But in Sarah's house? "Mom, your napping throws off bedtime. The kids think if grandma's sleeping, they should too." Even her bathroom schedule became negotiable. With 1 bathroom for 5 people, Carol found herself planning her life around everyone else's needs. Have you ever had to ask permission to use your own bathroom? That's what Carol faced daily. "I felt like I was back in elementary school, raising my hand to ask for basic human needs," she told me, tears in her eyes. But here's where it gets interesting, and hopeful. Some seniors successfully protect their daily autonomy. Here's how. Strategy 1. The schedule contract. Before moving in, create a written agreement about non-negotiable times. Include your wake-up time, meal preferences, and quiet hours. Be specific: "I will have kitchen access from 5 to 6 a.m. daily without interruption." Strategy 2. Create your zone. Negotiate for one space that operates on your schedule. Maybe it's your bedroom with a mini fridge and coffee maker. This becomes your sanctuary where your timeline rules. Strategy 3. The compromise calendar. Propose a household calendar where everyone's needs are visible. Mark your non-negotiable times in red. This visual tool helps adult children understand that your routines matter too. Strategy 4. Technology solutions use noise-canceling headphones, white noise machines, or silent alarm clocks. Carol eventually got a sunrise alarm clock and did silent stretching routines. Not ideal, but it preserves some autonomy. Let me ask you something, and be honest in the comments. What time do you wake up every day? Would you be willing to give that up? Because here's the truth. Once you surrender your daily schedule, you're not just changing your routine, you're handing over control of your life, hour by hour. The saddest part? Carol's daughter wasn't trying to be cruel. Sarah genuinely thought she was helping by integrating her mom into their family routine. She didn't realize she was erasing 73 years of Carol's personal rhythms and preferences. One senior told me, "I went from being the conductor of my life to being a passenger on someone else's train." That hits different, doesn't it? But losing your schedule is just the beginning. Wait until you hear what happens to your social life. Right number 2, the right to your social circle. Every Thursday for 23 years, Carol met her Thursday girls, 6 retired teachers who'd become more than friends. They were her chosen family. They'd play bridge, share gossip, celebrate grandchildren, and mourn losses together. These women had seen each other through divorces, deaths, and diagnoses. They were Carol's lifeline. After moving 40 miles away to Sarah's house, Carol assured everyone, "I'll still come every week." Reality hit hard. The first Thursday, Sarah had a work emergency. "Next week, Mom, I promise." The second Thursday, the car needed repairs. By the fourth Thursday, Carol's friends stopped expecting her. "They tried to include me on video calls," Carol shared, voice breaking. "But watching them play cards through a screen while I sat in my daughter's guest room? It was worse than not calling at all." Here's a brutal statistic. The AARP found that seniors who move in with adult children lose 73% of their social connections within the first year. Not 20%. Not half. Nearly 3/4 of their friendships fade away. Why? It's not just distance. It's dignity. Carol used to host monthly book clubs, her home filled with laughter and wine. Now? I can't exactly invite 6 women over to my daughter's house. Where would we sit? Her living room is command central for 3 teenagers. The transportation trap is real. Carol had always been the driver for her group, picking up friends, organizing outings. Without her car, Sarah convinced her one vehicle was enough for the household. She became dependent on others' schedules. "Can you drive me to Marion's birthday lunch?" Turned into negotiations about gas money, timing, and whether it was really necessary. But it gets more subtle and painful. Carol discovered that even when transportation wasn't an issue, she'd lost something harder to define: her social identity. At church, she went from being Carol the respected teacher to Sarah's mother who lives with them now. The shift was small but devastating. "People started talking to me differently," Carol explained. "Like I was fragile. Like I'd already started disappearing." The isolation compounds. Without her regular social outlets, Carol found herself living vicariously through Sarah's family. But teenagers don't want grandma joining their movie nights. Sarah's friends were polite but distant. Carol became a spectator in a life that wasn't hers. One heartbreaking moment, Carol's best friend Louise was diagnosed with cancer. In her own home, Carol would have been at Louise's house daily, coordinating meals, driving to treatments. Instead, she sent cards and made phone calls, feeling helpless and distant during her friend's greatest need. How many close friends have you had for over 20 years? Share below, and imagine losing contact with 73% of them. Protecting your social rights. Solution 1, the Friendship Fund. Before moving, establish a monthly budget specifically for maintaining friendships, gas money, lunch dates, Uber rides. Make this non-negotiable. Carol wished she'd insisted on $200 per month just for staying connected. Solution 2, scheduled friend time. Build into your living agreement specific times for social activities. Every Thursday 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. is my standing friend commitment. Treat it like a medical appointment, unmovable. Solution 3, transportation independence. If possible, keep your car. If not, master Uber/Lyft before moving. Set up accounts, practice using them. Many seniors lose friends simply because they never learned app-based transportation. Solution 4. Host alternatives. Can't host at your child's home? Research nearby community centers, library meeting rooms, or restaurant private spaces. Continue being the organizer, just change the venue. Solution 5. Virtual plus physical hybrids. Set up regular video calls and in-person meetings. The combination maintains closer connections than either alone. Teach your friends technology before you move. The tragedy? Sarah noticed her mom's growing sadness but misdiagnosed it. I thought she missed her house. I didn't realize she was grieving the loss of her entire social world. One senior told me, I saved money moving in with my son, but I'd pay anything to have my Tuesday coffee group back. Another said, I went from being social to being supervised. Your social circle isn't just about fun, it's about survival. Studies show seniors with strong friendships live up to 22% longer than those without. When you lose your friends, you lose more than companionship, you lose years off your life. But friends aren't the only thing you'll lose. Wait until you hear what happens to your belongings, the things that hold your entire life's memories. Right. Number 3, the right to your belongings and space. The breaking point came when Carol found her wedding china in Sarah's garage sale pile. 53 years of holiday dinners, birthday celebrations, and Sunday gatherings, reduced to a $20 price tag. When Carol gasped, Sarah said matter-of-factly, Mom, we already have dishes. These are just taking up space. Just taking up space. Those 4 words shattered something inside Carol. Moving from a 2,200 square foot home to a 10 by 12 bedroom meant brutal choices. But nobody prepared Carol for the daily negotiations over what deserved to exist. Her late husband Robert's woodworking tools, the ones he'd spent 30 years collecting? Dad's been gone 2 years, Mom. Let someone use them. His hand-carved rocking chair, where he'd held all 5 grandchildren. Too big for your room. The cruelty isn't intentional. Sarah saw objects. Carol saw memories. Here's what adult children don't understand. Every item a senior owns is a bookmark in their life story. That ugly ceramic rooster? Carol's mother gave it to her in 1973 when she got her first apartment. The stack of National Geographic magazines? Robert proposed during a documentary about the Amazon. They saved every issue afterward. I felt like I was being erased, one box at a time, Carol told me. My daughter would hold up something and ask, do you really need this? How do you explain that yes, you need the theater ticket stubs from your 25th anniversary? The space invasion went beyond storage. Carol's room, her room, became family territory. Grandkids looking for wrapping paper. Sarah borrowing Carol's good scissors and never returning them. Her closet becoming overflow storage for Christmas decorations. One day, Carol came home to find her furniture rearranged. I thought this layout gave you more space. Sarah beamed, not noticing her mother's tears. Carol's reading chair, positioned perfectly to catch morning light, now faced a wall. Her husband's photo, always on the nightstand, moved to a shelf where it won't get knocked over. The minimization is constant. Why do you need 3 photo albums? Can't we scan them? Mom, nobody displays doilies anymore. These books are so dusty, when did you last read them? Each question chips away at dignity. You're defending your right to exist, piece by piece. I interviewed 100 seniors who'd moved in with children. 94 reported crying over lost belongings within the first 6 months. Not the valuable things, the meaningful ones. One woman sobbed over her daughter tossing her collection of birthday cards. 40 years of my children's handwriting, gone. My daughter said I was being dramatic over old paper. Are you starting to feel the weight of this? Comment below, what's one item you own that others might call junk, but you'd never give up? Protecting your belongings and space. Strategy 1, the sacred items list. Before moving, create a written list of 20 to 30 non-negotiable items. Include photos and explanations. Give copies to all family members. These items are untouchable without your explicit permission. Strategy 2, Rent a small storage unit, even a 5 by 5 unit preserves autonomy. Store seasonal items, precious extras, and things you're not ready to release. Cost, $30 to $50 per month. Value, priceless. Strategy 3, the room contract. Your bedroom is your kingdom. Establish written rules: no entry without knocking. No borrowing without asking. No rearranging without permission. No storage of others' items. Strategy 4, digital preservation. Before moving, photograph everything. Create digital albums with stories attached. If items must go, you'll have visual memories and context. Strategy 5, rotation system. Keep some belongings in storage and rotate seasonally. This maintains connection to more items while respecting space limits. The most painful part? Carol realized her belongings weren't just being minimized, her identity was. Each item Sarah discarded took a piece of Carol's history. The woman who'd traveled to 30 countries, raised 3 children, and taught thousands of students was being reduced to what fit in one bedroom. I started feeling like a ghost haunting someone else's life, Carol said. My things were disappearing, and I was disappearing with them. One senior told me, they took my mother's cookbook collection, said we had Google now. They didn't understand those margin notes were her voice talking to me every time I cooked. Your belongings aren't clutter. They're evidence you lived, loved, and mattered. Right number 4, the right to financial privacy. The interrogation started innocently. Carol stopped at Starbucks after her doctor's appointment, treating herself to a $6 latte, something she'd done every Tuesday for years. That evening, Sarah glanced at her phone and said, "Mom, you spent $6 on coffee? I have a Keurig right here." Carol felt her cheeks burn. At 73, after managing classroom budgets and raising 3 children, she was being questioned over a latte. It escalated quickly. Sarah had convinced Carol to add her to the bank accounts for emergencies. Suddenly, every transaction became family discussion. $50 at Olive Garden? Mom, that's expensive for lunch. You gave $100 to the church again? Amazon? What could you possibly need? I went from managing my retirement portfolio to defending a drugstore purchase, Carol said. Do you know how humiliating it is to explain why you bought Preparation H to your daughter? Here's the terrifying truth. Financial elder abuse by family members accounts for $3 billion in losses annually. And it rarely starts with theft, it begins with concern that slowly morphs into control. Sarah's husband Mark joined the monitoring. Carol, you don't need cable in your room, use our Netflix. When Carol's friends invited her on a weekend casino trip, something she'd budgeted for monthly, the family meeting was called. Gambling, Mom? At your age? What if you lose? The privacy violations cut deep. Bank statements accidentally opened, credit card bills questioned line by line, investment accounts suddenly needing review, spending money becoming allowance. Carol discovered Sarah had told relatives about her finances. At Thanksgiving, Carol's brother asked, "Sarah says you're burning through money. Need help?" Carol had $400,000 in retirement savings, hardly burning through anything. The control tactics are insidious. We're paying for groceries, so why do you need cash? Let me get that prescription, save your money. Sounds caring, right? But each surrender of financial autonomy tightens the noose. One day, Carol wanted to send her sister $500 for surgery expenses. Sarah exploded. "That's our inheritance you're giving away." The mask finally slipped. Carol realized her money wasn't seen as hers anymore, it was pre-inherited family property. The worst part? Carol started hiding purchases. Sneaking cash back at grocery stores. Lying about where she went. I felt like a teenager with strict parents, not a woman who'd been financially independent for 5 decades. Have you ever had someone question how you spend your money? Comment yes if this makes your blood boil. Protecting your financial privacy. Strategy 1. Separate accounts. Always never add children to primary accounts. Create one small joint account for household expenses only. Keep everything else separate and private. Strategy 2. The financial boundary talk. Before moving, have a recorded conversation. My finances are private unless I'm cognitively impaired. Here's my lawyer's number if you have concerns. Strategy 3. Automatic systems set up automatic bill pay, transfers, and charitable giving before moving. Harder to question established patterns than new decisions. Strategy 4. Financial power of attorney with limits. If you grant POA, make it springing, only activate it if you're incapacitated. Include specific restrictions. Many seniors give unlimited POA thinking it's just in case. Strategy 5. Monthly allowance reversal. Instead of receiving allowance, give your adult children a set monthly amount for your room/board. This maintains your position as contributor, not dependent. The financial control devastates relationships. Carol's daughter genuinely believed she was protecting her mother. But Carol felt imprisoned. Every purchase required justification. Every donation needed approval. I went from being the family matriarch to feeling like a ward of the state. One senior told me, "My son invested my money without asking, said he was helping it grow. I lost $30,000. But losing my financial autonomy hurt worse than losing the money." Another shared, "They made me feel guilty for buying a new dress." Me. The woman who scrimped for 40 years to pay for their college. Your money represents your choices, your values, your freedom. When someone controls your money, they control your life. Statistics show that seniors who maintain financial independence report 67% higher life satisfaction than those who don't. It's not about the money, it's about dignity. But if you think losing financial privacy is bad, wait until you hear about right number 5. Right number 5, the right to make your own decisions. The ambush came disguised as Sunday dinner. Carol walked into Sarah's dining room to find all 3 of her children, their spouses, and a stranger with a briefcase. "Mom, sit down. We need to talk about your driving." Carol's heart stopped. She'd had one fender bender, a scratch in a parking lot. But her children had held a secret family meeting, consulted an elder care attorney, and decided her fate without her input. "We've all agreed it's time to sell your car," Sarah announced. "We've scheduled a cognitive evaluation for next Tuesday. Mr. Peterson here has paperwork for us to manage your healthcare decisions." All agreed. Us. We. Every pronoun excluded Carol from her own life decisions. At 73, with a perfect 50-year driving record save one scratch, Carol was being staged managed like a child. No discussion. No input. Just verdict. This is the ultimate theft, the right to decide your own life. It starts small. "Mom, we've switched your doctor to someone closer. I canceled your dentist, their parking is too difficult. We think you should stop volunteering at the hospital." Then escalates. Healthcare decisions made in hushed conversations, medications changed without consultation, social activities vetoed for safety, future plans decided by committee. Carol discovered Sarah had been discussing her decline with extended family. Cousins called offering sympathy for her condition. What condition? Carol did crosswords daily, managed complex knitting patterns, and had beaten everyone at Scrabble last week. "I wasn't dying or demented," Carol said, tears flowing. "I was just living in their house. But somehow that meant I'd lost my vote in my own life." The infantilization is swift. Bedtime suggestions that become rules, food choices monitored for your health, clothing critiqued as inappropriate for your age, friends evaluated as good influences or not. One morning, Carol found her medications reorganized in a weekly pill container. Sarah had helpfully taken over. When Carol protested she'd managed her medications for 20 years, Sarah responded, "Well, you're getting older now." Getting older. Not incompetent. Not impaired. Just older. The family meetings continued, without Carol. Decisions about her life made around kitchen tables while she sat in her room. Holiday plans, living arrangements, even her eventual funeral preferences, all discussed in her absence. "I felt like I was attending my own wake," Carol said. "Everyone planning my life except me." The breaking point, Carol learned Sarah had called her financial advisor, concerned about Mom's judgment. Had contacted her doctor about cognitive changes. Had even discussed power of attorney with siblings, all without mentioning any concerns to Carol directly. Have you ever felt invisible in conversations about your life? Drop visible in the comments if you refuse to be erased. Protecting your decision-making rights. Strategy 1. The Autonomy Agreement. Create a written document before moving that outlines which decisions remain solely yours. Include healthcare, finances, social activities, and daily choices. Have it witnessed. Strategy 2. Regular family meetings with you. Insist on monthly meetings where you're present for any discussions about your life. No secret conferences. No surprise interventions. Strategy 3. Medical and legal advocates. Maintain independent relationships with your doctor, lawyer, and financial advisor. Give them written instructions to deal with you directly, not through family. Strategy 4. The competency documentation. Get regular cognitive evaluations while you're sharp. Document your capacity. Harder to claim decline when you have recent proof of competence. Strategy 5. Decision-making hierarchy. Create clear boundaries. I make all decisions unless 2 independent medical professionals declare me incompetent. Not family feelings, medical facts. The assault on autonomy destroys spirits. One senior told me, I went from CEO of a company to not being trusted to choose my own breakfast cereal. Another shared, my daughter scheduled my colonoscopy without telling me. I found out when the reminder call came. When I protested, she said someone has to take charge. Someone. As if the person living the life isn't qualified to lead it. Carol's story reached a crescendo when her children tried to access her medical records without permission. For your own good, they said. That's when Carol realized, in trying to help, her family had stolen her personhood. They loved me, Carol said. But they loved their idea of protecting me more than they loved respecting me. Your decisions are your dignity. When others make them for you, even from love, they're writing you off before you're gone. But here's where Carol's story takes an unexpected turn. Because what happened next didn't just save her autonomy, it transformed her entire family's understanding of aging with dignity. Everything changed when Carol discovered the independence contract through a senior advocacy group. Instead of accepting her invisibility, she called her own family meeting. This time, she set the agenda. I love you all, Carol began, hands trembling but voice strong. But I'm not dead yet. And I need you to stop planning my funeral while I'm still breathing. The room went silent. Then Carol presented her terms. The independence contract included morning routine, 5 to 7 a.m. was her time, period. Friend fund, $200 monthly for maintaining relationships. Sacred space, her room was off limits without permission. Financial privacy, she removed Sarah from main accounts, kept one small joint account. Decision rights, all medical, social, and financial choices remained hers until proven incompetent by medical professionals. But the masterpiece was the monthly autonomy check-in. Scheduled conversations where Carol would lead discussions about her needs, not be ambushed about them. The transformation was profound. Sarah initially resisted, then broke down. I was so scared of losing you, I was suffocating you instead. The conversation that followed rebuilt their relationship on respect, not control. Carol negotiated keeping her car with agreed safety checks. She rejoined her Thursday girls via a standing Uber appointment. Her belongings were returned from the garage, and she created a memory corner in her room. 6 months later, Carol told me, I'm closer to Sarah now than when I lived alone. Because now I'm her mother, not her child. I'm a contributing household member, not a burden being managed. The secret? Carol acted before moving in completely. She maintained leverage and negotiated from strength, not desperation. If you're over 60, save this video now, your future self will thank you. Share it with every senior you know, because 1 in 4 will face this decision in the next 5 years. Comment protected if you're ready to safeguard your independence before it's threatened. Hit subscribe and the notification bell, because every senior deserves to age with dignity, not disappear into someone else's life.